up. I can't hear you. All right, we're now back here on Celebrity Reflection. What do you think of this ship? Do you love? How many kids have you saw?
No.
One, and she's in our party. Thank you so much. We have a lot of return cruisers on this particular one, but you know what? Return cruisers are fabulous, as we know, but new time cruisers are awesome. New faces are so important no matter what you're doing in life, and the new faces bring the new story because then we got something to talk about, you know, seeing the new faces coming in as you're kind of get orientation. But it's nice to have the return cruisers because you know how we flow here. Anything goes here in the room. All 100% creativity, right girls? Right. So if you're shocked by anything, you shouldn't be at this point. So we would like to really welcome you. If you're a new time cruiser, can you stand up for us, please? New time cruiser. New time. Let's give them a word of applause. Okay, so these are our Crochet Cruiser virgins. They will never have that title twice, so accept it. Here on the Crochet Cruises, it's all about you for 11 days. You got me for 11 days. Enjoy your figure now because in 11 days you're not going to look so skinny. Because here on the ship we don't count calories, do we girls?
No.
Or trips back to the buffet, do we girls?
No.
Anybody going to be counting?
No.
I was waiting for somebody to shove them out the door. This is a beautiful ship, absolutely beautiful ship. I felt so relaxed coming on board. This is the first time our skids came on board before we did in the morning. I actually had a nap this afternoon, which is totally unheard of because we usually run around, but the ship has been absolutely amazing.
That's absolutely right. We have to thank Celebrity. So as Michael has said, you know, the stress is always, as you can see, look at all the product here. Just look around, like we got cotton over here, we have gift bags over here, we have Burnett Maker, we have Karen 1 Pound, we have a lot of stuff for you. So tonight, I have no idea how the hell you're gonna get it back to your cabin. Good luck, everybody. So anyways, tonight it's gonna be about you guys. You're gonna notice today that we've asked for you guys to do a little homework, and already we're seeing creativity, and we're going to see lots of creativity this week. And by the end of the week, you're actually going to, we have a theme, and every time we do a Crochet Cruise, it's a theme, and you're going to discover this theme eventually by the end of this cruise. So we're going to be working on some projects, and they might not relate to each other, but you're going to discover something, okay? And I think you're going to discover something about yourself, something about your neighbor, something about you, you know? And that's what we're really excited about. This is what the Crochet Cruises mean to us. You know, I don't know how I can say that over these years, we have developed some amazing friendships. And those friendships have blossomed, and we have, you know, this Facebook page that we've been on, you know, we've been talking. I feel like I know all you new people, and I have never met you. So it's been amazing. So we're gonna have a fabulous 11 days. We got all sorts of stuff planned. We got excursions. And actually, before we even get up to that, I wouldn't mind inviting Sherry up here. Come on up.
So let me tell you what goes on behind the scenes, okay? So because I have to film and do a lot of blog writing and stuff along with Jeannie, these two, Riff and Raff here, do a lot of the crochet. They do a lot of the planning for the cruises. That's one thing I've stepped back from and allowed them to do it because 3 people trying to organize something is a nightmare, right?
Well,
yeah.
you know,
because I come in last minute, what about this? Shut up, Michael. We already talked about it. It's already done. The one thing that is so amazing about Sherry, she can anticipate the need before we see that there's a need. And it's absolutely amazing. Absolutely. You've been absolutely just phenomenal. Really. Including the busing today. We had so much bloody luggage that, you know what, we couldn't fill our buses, but you planned for that.
Yes.
Amazing.
Because we learned from October.
Yeah, so we had never realized that in October when we went to get off the ship is that we put on 7 pallets of yarn for 2 cruises, and many people stayed twice for 2 cruises, and we didn't realize that all that luggage has to get back some way on the same buses that we came on. That was a nightmare.
It was. I had to almost drive you to the airport.
But absolutely, so you're planning some more cruises in the future. We have the next one in Alaska sold out.
Yeah, Alaska's sold out.
Yeah. Who's on Alaska with us? Oh, they're all quiet. So these are Alaskans. So yeah.
Right. And then February 2019, we have the Mardi Gras cruise going
Who's on
out
Mardi
in
Gras? That's gonna be a while. Now you're planning a really cool thing for that, like the.
Yeah, I am. So in New Orleans, obviously, is Mardi Gras, and they actually have a factory there where they make the floats for Mardi Gras. And I am working on getting us tickets to go there and see how they make the parade floats. So
It totally ties in with creativity, right? You'll be inspired. And then we have.
in July, we have Bermuda.
Okay. Who wants to go through that triangle? We're all going down together, girls. But we enjoyed it all the same.
Right. And then October, we have Panama Canal.
All right. Now I will tell you quite bluntly, I was scared as hell for that one, and I told these guys, don't. And I wrote them a long email, and Daniel and I, we don't really talk much, so we email through Facebook. So I said, here's my reasons, blah, blah, blah. And then Sherry says, I think you can sell that cruise. And I'm like, really? And so anyway, we put it out, and you have what?
3 days later,
Yeah.
I had almost 50% sold out in 3 days.
Yeah. It kind of shocks you. It kind of shocks you because you want to keep your cruises within a good budget, but you also want to have variety. I don't want to ever do the same thing too many times. So phenomenal, Sherry.
Thank you.
Yes, you've been doing an amazing job. Yeah. Any wise words?
Yeah, so just a couple of announcements. So every night I will do announcements for what's going to be happening the next day. So if we're at an island, I'll make announcements about where you're going to meet me for the shore excursions, etc. So you want to make sure you always come to the start of class so you can hear those important announcements, but you also don't want to miss class because you're going to miss what Michael's teaching you.
So we also have a very special guest. We don't have her all the time because she is amazing and she has her own life too. We have Della here on board. Della! So I had this crazy email to me one day. It says, I'll meet you at the Spin Right Factory outlet and I'll teach you Tunisian. I don't know her from a hole in the wall. And she goes, I'm known as the Railway Knitter, where I teach on Via Rail from Vancouver all the way to Ontario, and makes her way and entertains people teaching Tunisian across the way. So I ended up running into her. I'm here. I'm like, oh, that's nice. And we sat in an aisle on the floor. I sat on the floor, and you taught me Tunisian for the first time. And it finally click, 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 click. And then you end up coming to my house later. Yeah.
Tunisian boot camp.
Yeah, it was Tunisian boot camp, 2 days of it, and you know, I'm so busy with, it's hard to get that time away, so she came to me, and so I said, you know what, you're teaching on Via Rail, how about adding a cruise to your thing, right? Yeah. And so she sat there, and her brain is like, yeah. But she's such a proper lady. A lady never discusses her politics, is that right? Right? Don't discuss politics with her because a lady never discusses her politics. And you knew she was about to say, yeah! So it gave her 10 minutes. She goes, I think I can do that. Ever so calmly. So this is how many cruises for you?
4.
This is your 4th. You're going to learn amazing things. Della does a hook out in the cafeteria, so if you're not already hooked out enough, you can get the ice cream, you can get the booze, you can get Tunisian, community, all going up in the buffet in the evenings, and the lighting is great. You all love that? Yeah. Any wise words for us?
What?
Stick it in your mouth. Oh. I shouldn't have to tell you that. You got more experience than me. Oh. A lady never discusses her politics. Sorry, I forgot.
Michael said about everything about me that he needs to. But there are a number of you who have experience doing Tunisian crochet, correct? Yes. So over the next couple of days, we're going to be doing sort of a marathon, which means different tables will be working on different stitches. So I am looking for some assistance that we will set up a little private time as a little group, and I will show you, each of you, a couple of different stitches so that you can help teach those at the tables. I think that will work. Now, some of you have never done...
And hands up, no Tunisian
No
at all.
Tunisian whatsoever.
Okay, Tunisian virgin! But not after this cruise. That's all, that's the title, it's gonna be gone.
I think a lot of people think Tunisian is really difficult, or they may have tried it.
Anybody scared?
Yes.
Oh God, Diane, you're fine. You're with Billy for Christ's sakes, you should be good. You should see the photo on the group photo. She was handling the balls before I even gave her yarn.
So one of the things that I tell people is when we go on the train, we have people who come to our activities who are knitters or are crocheters, and they just want to learn something different, something they've always wanted to learn. If people come knowing absolutely no knitting and crochet, what we teach them is Tunisian crochet. And people look at me like I'm crazy. So if you want to see me, we'll figure out where and when to get together. I'd like to do a group of maybe 5 or 6 people then I can show you all sort of different stitches and answer your questions and stuff. So.
And you can also show each other. Your teacher here on the cruise is Della and I, but it's actually really more your table mates. You teach each other. You're going to take skills that we're never going to talk about in the front of the class, but your neighbor will whisper over to you some ideas and tips, and that's what this cruise is going to be. This is a round robin cruise. Here on the Crochet Cruises, we try to be very inclusive of a lot of things. We have a few policies in the classroom, and it's all about creativity in this room and wherever you go, okay? We ask that you do not discuss religion openly in the room and politics. Do we agree?
Yes.
Okay, you want to talk about that? Do it outside of this room. Let's keep this room about creativity. I do recommend, though, I would probably keep the politic talk outside of this room to a very minimum. You don't know who's on the ship that may not be thinking like you are.
Absolutely. One thing that we are doing today is Project Linus. And so I actually want to just go right into Project Linus. This is about friendship. I decided once I started, looking at the Crochet Cruises and who's actually all here, we actually have a lot of returnees. We also have some new friends too as well. And I realized after talking for a little while that what we should do is a friendship square. And seeing all these squares, I want you to think about when you put them together, that each stitch is like a friend that you have just learned. And the more you put them together, the more you have developed a community. And that's what I want you to look at. And for every time we actually finish an Afghan, and you're going to see these Afghans at the end of the week. And if you've seen any of our videos, aren't they amazing?
Yes. Amazing.
They are absolutely impressive, and that is going to charity.
And now that's your turn. That's your turn to have your spot in the sunlight, really, to all these squares. Because once you see these squares, you may never see your squares until the very final end and say, oh my God, that's where my square went. It's not about matching it to be perfect. This is the whole point of the exercise. Some of us, it's not OCD, but it's a preference of just making sure everything matches. If somebody is cold or in need, a responder in the back of a police vehicle, do you think they care about the color? It's about the warmth. And so what we want to do is that we want to extend that to them with our passion of our projects and to be able to give it to a child in need. Sure, you want to have a little bit of choice when it comes to the joining and the borders, but the squares itself is a representative of true community here on board.
I'm going to mention a little story that we actually were told at Disney. And one of the stories was that, this child actually had a whole choice of beautiful Afghans, just stunning, beautiful roses, beautiful granny squares and all that stuff. But she ended up picking the ugliest one, and it was a purple and brown Afghan. So they asked her, why did you pick that? She goes, it reminds me of peanut butter and jam. So think about that. Don't think literally. Think of what a child is looking at, okay? And so for tomorrow, as you can see in your schedule, we're going to be working on that all day tomorrow. So I don't want you to rush into these Afghans. Don't try to sew them as quickly as possible or crochet them as quickly as possible. Think about it. Share with your neighbors. What are you planning to do? What are you going to do for a border? Now, how many brought a border book?
I did.
Look at
Okay,
that.
so we got stuff around the room here.
So we got lots of ideas, and share with that. If you want to go through, flip through the pages and all that stuff. And if you don't know how to read patterns, who's the teacher?
Your neighbor.
Absolutely, your neighbor is your teacher. So that's what I want you to do. Take your time, okay? I think we're seeing this. I'm hoping we're going to get at least 100. And what do you think? How many? Anybody want to take a guess?
200. I think we're getting
200?
200?
200.
All right. So let's see if we can actually do 200 blankets. And keep in mind with all these, you can extend the borders individually if you want to.
You got the yarn.
You got the yarn, and we have to thank. Guess who we have to thank? Absolutely, because look at all this yarn. You